Here he is, the great Mauricio Sulaiman. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I've been following you.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate all that you do for boxing.
Thank you.
It's a strong voice, and it's a great honor for me to be here.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I know you're a very busy man. I've wanted to talk to you and have you on for quite some time, and I figured no better time than now.
Yes.
Because this is a very interesting time for the sport, for the WBC, for everyone involved in the sport.
It is challenging times, interesting times, but it's good to see boxing is all over. Talking all over, not necessarily for the right reasons all the time, but we're going through a great time in the sport.
I want to ask you about those times, but I also want to congratulate you on going viral this past weekend. You know, your tweet went crazy viral with Big Baby's hair. Yeah, I saw you had like something like 50, what is it? Look at that, 77,000 likes on this tweet, Mauricio.
Unbelievable. I could not believe it.
What? Tell me your perspective here. What is going on? You're sitting in the front row.
I'm sitting there.
Yes.
The round is over.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there, and then I start listening to the crowd reaction. Wow, 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 wow. And then I look at the screen and I see the thing with the, I didn't see it live that it was happening.
Okay.
So then I realized he had taken off, and I said, I wonder where the hairpiece is. So I just stood up and walked around and found it. And I said, well, we need to get this back to him.
Yes.
He needs to put it back somehow. So I just took the pictures and I said, I found it.
Unbelievable. Have you ever seen that in all your years?
Never in my life.
Yeah.
I saw Franchon Cruz.
Yes, I remember.
She had,
yeah.
But it was a different.
Sure. I remember Paulie Malignaggi also got a haircut in between rounds one time, but
the
dreadlocks, or whatever it was, but never. He played it well though, right? He was laughing afterwards. That's what you have to do.
Sensational.
Yes.
I mean, could have been embarrassing.
Sure.
You know, hair is sensitive. Like you can tell.
Of course.
There's people that simply worry too much and they wear a hairpiece. There's people that don't care. And I don't know if he had it, that his reaction was sensational.
What
took it off and just smiled.
Laughed about it. What did you think of the night overall? Madison Square Garden, Shakur. Was it a good night for boxing?
Good night for boxing. To have a sellout in the Mecca of boxing, the Madison Square Garden, so much history, to see boxing back. I loved our fight. Shushu and Castro, they fought. Shushu was really hurt on the third or fourth round. I don't know if you realize that. He was hit in the top of the head and he was really dizzy. Castro is a very strong kid, and the ending was explosive. The celebration was incredible.
Right.
This is what really brings boxing to what it is all about, the emotions and moments like that. I think Shakur is a man on his own. Great champion, great quality, moving up in weight, 4 weight categories now. He's a special fighter.
So when you sat down, this is what I'm really excited to obviously talk to you about, because we've been following this story for a long time. You said it was challenging times for the sport. Why do you use that word? Why is it challenging in your opinion?
Because we're going through a great moment with great unification fights, so many undisputed champions, all these fights that fans wanted to see for a long time that did not happen. Now, with the influence of Turkey Al-Sheikh, the Saudi Arabia Riyadh season started only October 23.
Right.
You look back, it's only 2 years from now. And today's scenario is much different. Now, Tyson Fury lost to Usyk. Usyk became undisputed. Bivol defeated Berteryev. Crawford defeated Canelo. So the overall major scope is different. Fighters who fight in the Riyadh season are challenged to see if they can fight outside of Riyadh season for much less money. Some of them get comfortable and they're willing to fight maybe only once a year or wait for a big money. Those who are not longer into their plans are left without knowing where to go or how to go. In overall, I think it has been very good for boxing. There's great fights, great opportunity. Promoters are sitting down and negotiating and understanding that the fights need to be given to the fans. And the other thing is the Zuffa TKO thing that has came in with some actions that are highly difficult to understand. When they first announced, I'm sorry I talk too much.
I like it. Please. This is your time.
When they announced last year that there was going to be a partnership, the WBC immediately came out and said, "Welcome to boxing. We hope it is good for the sport. Anything that comes into boxing, we welcome and support." And they have been changing, too aggressive, too, how do you say?
Well, I've heard you say like bullying.
Bullying.
You've used that term.
Yes, I was mistreated so bad in Las Vegas.
For Canelo Crawford.
For Canelo Crawford.
Tell me how.
Me and the other three organizations, WBO, WBA, IBF, we were not even given a credential. We were told we could not get into the ring. We were not allowed to go into the dressing room. We were not allowed to be at the commission desk. When we go to a fight, we go to work. It is not a vacation or a fun or like a fan or a reporter that goes to a fight. We are there to work. They are fighting for our championships. The fight was undisputed for the 4 belts. And it was very, very, very disappointing.
Were you given a reason as
Never.
to? So how did it go? Like, hey, I want to do what we usually do, and you were told not happening?
Not happening. No, we were given a ticket to go into the fight outside of the technical zone.
Just with the regular public?
Just with the regular public. Anyway, turn the page. They announce their plans and they want to change the law or introduce a new law that goes against the Muhammad Ali Act, which was a long process that Muhammad himself, with Senator McCain, Senator Reid, and others, took a long time to develop and went through the Senate and was approved, mostly to protect fighters in the United States, to have representation with their managers, to demand from the promoters full transparency and disclosure, to protect and have a wall between promoters and boxing commissions, promoters and managers, promoters and organizations, for the protection of the fighter and to reduce any possibility of any wrongdoing. The WBC has to disclose any sanction fees that are charged, any movements in the rankings. When we change a fighter, every year we submit a report to the ABC. And mostly it has brought the opportunity for fighters to make the most money they can make. They have the opportunity to choose between promoters and managers in a free market. So everything that is trying to be introduced, because MMA is not, it does not have to abide by the Muhammad Ali Act. That's why the UFC controls television, sponsorship. He's the manager, the promoter, rankings, titles, everything is one universe, like the NFL, like the Major League Baseball, NBA, and the multi-billion industry walked in and had the UFC become such a huge company. On boxing, you have promoters. The organizations have nothing to do with the business side, only the promoters. And there's all these limitations that today's world brings. Around 80% of the revenue goes to the fighters and 20% to the promoters, which is very, very different from MMA.
So when you see them coming in and you see and hear Dana White in particular say, we're not going to recognize the belts, we're not going to have them contested, we're not going to shine a light on them on our card, how does this make you feel?
unnecessary roughness,
Yeah.
like in the NFL. There's no need to say that. If they want to do their own, if they want to do their league, if the law passes, God bless them, and hopefully it'll be good for the fighters. But there's no need to be so arrogant and so aggressive and say, I am the man and I am the one. It's a completely different world, boxing and the UFC. Here's about the boxers. The only reason for existence of the WBC is the fighters, before, during, and after the years of glory. And in the other side is not. It's them. It's the money. So I do not like the arrogant way, the bullying way, the aggressive way. There's no need. You know, they have a great power, multi-billions. They have their own network, so they can say their message, which is one way. A scripted, one-way message. When they are challenged on a live press conference, you can see when they're asked something that is not scripted, they start bubbling and they don't know, because it's a completely different scenario. When I'm here, you and I never spoken ever. And you can ask me whatever you like. I will never duck a question. I will respond whatever. And it's a different. I've seen on September card, they put the boxing media in the roof. The UFC media right there on the floor. So, very different world.
Do you feel like they are a threat to the WBC? If they get what they want and they become, right now in America, Top Rank doesn't have a TV deal. Golden Boy doesn't have a TV deal. There aren't a lot of American promoters right now who are successful. If they become the global brand that they want to become, they're in business with Turkey, who is so powerful and has so many funds at his disposal. Are you afraid that that will become the norm and that will be a massive threat to your WBC?
Absolutely not.
You're not worried about this?
No.
How come?
Boxing is a global sport. We have 176 countries affiliated. There are so many promoters all over the world. Boxing is a sport of the shushu, who came from the street, who came from dreaming when he was a kid to win a gold medal for his country or become WBC champion, or WBO, IBF, WBA. And to get to that level, it takes a long time. It takes the local boxing gym. It takes the local promotions. It takes a top rank to find them and to build him. It takes the WBC to nurture him with the Continental America's title, with the structure moving up. So without Inoue from Japan, Usyk from Ukraine, Tyson Fury from the UK, Canelo from Mexico, Mbili from Canada, boxing, Manny Pacquiao from Philippines. Boxing is a worldwide sport that continues and continues and continues. If a fighter, a promoter, a league, a person thinks they are above boxing, they're completely wrong. Boxing will always exist. As long as there's poverty and need for a sport like ours, there's going to be boxing. So I'm not worried whatsoever. We have a great platform. So many people that depend on the different programs that we have. I'm just happy, and I just want the best for the sport.
What I think is interesting about your position is that there's obviously someone in your position, WBO, IBF, WBA, etc., but you're the most notable one, in my opinion. Everyone knows Mauricio Sulaiman, right? And so I wonder, and obviously WBC to many is the most prestigious. Everyone talks about that green belt. Do you feel like it is your responsibility to speak up on behalf of the other sanctioning bodies, on behalf of the sport? Because I've seen you do a lot of media recently and speak out and issue press releases and whatnot, because perhaps the others don't want to, can't, don't have the platform and the voice that you have.
Well, I believe I tried to stay quiet for quite some time, but then we had to do something. I believe that WBC, and I say it with humility and humble, is the voice of the sport of boxing. I believe we represent what promoters, managers, trainers, fighters, media, even fans have say. We are a center of attention and communication. We get everything like a funnel. And I believe there is great concern at this time. We did an open letter, and the title is Everything is going to be okay. Don't worry. If you're a promoter, small, medium, or big, just do better job. If you're a trainer, if you're a boxer, if you're a beginner in media, just continue working, continue doing it. Do it better. Work harder. And there's nothing bigger than boxing.
I want to ask you and actually show you a clip from Nick Khan. Nick Khan, who's a powerful figure in TKO, and obviously Zuffa Boxing is his baby in many respects. He was doing some media recently, and he spoke about you. I want to play you the clip and get your response, okay? Sure. Here it is. Here's Nick Khan on the Pat McAfee Show.
The Muhammad Ali Enhancement Act, what we're looking to do, everything that the act already has will stay the same. If you're a fighter and you want to do it the old way, with the World Boxing Confederation. And by the way, the gentleman who runs that organization, this is supposed to be a nonprofit organization, going into Canelo Crawford, said he couldn't stay in a regular hotel room. He needed a suite. He wanted to make sure that his tickets were front row. He wanted to make sure there were ample number of tickets. It all seems quite odd to me that a sport would be run that way, or quite odd to us. So in the Enhancement Act, all of that, if you're a fighter and you want to continue with it, nothing changes. This is presenting a different option, where if you want to come into a unified boxing organization like Zuffa, or anyone else who wants to create a unified boxing organization, come here, fight with us.
What do you think of that?
Itself, he doesn't even know the name of the WBC. World Boxing Confederation, he said.
You believe that?
Huh?
You believe he doesn't know?
Maybe he did it to say...
I think he's a very smart guy, Nick. He knows his boxing. I don't know if you know, he's been around with Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao.
I know him from a long time. He was with Lennox Lewis.
Yes. So I didn't know if you thought that, or maybe you thought maybe he was, trying to do a dig.
I don't know.
And more importantly,
but
stuff about the tickets and all that.
What he says, it's so low class. I am the president of the WBC. The WBC rules state that the president gets a suite when he goes to a fight, to supervise a fight. Why a suite? It's not to be pretentious or that I have my wife and my family and my friends. We have meetings with people from around the world. We have a lot of material. I'll be happy. Maybe you have seen, when I go to fights, I show, because we bring a lot of activations, souvenirs, and things that we go to give to gymnasiums. We have staff. When I go to a fight, I have 15 to 20 meetings with people. So I don't need tickets. I need my credential to work as a supervisor. The rules state that the WBC is entitled to a certain amount of tickets. Those tickets are for some executives, or for some fans, or for some gymnasiums that we give away. Every fight we have giveaway tickets. So to try to portray that into me being arrogant or being demanding, it's such a low-class action. But I am not into the popularity contest. I always take, tax. But how low can you go to use that as a ammunition instead of talking about boxing things? And the realities are very different from the UBO, that will have all the protection from the law so that they can do everything. Like they claim there's no sanction fees in Zuffa. Of course there's no sanction fees because they take all the money. It's ridiculous. It's something that is very elemental. If you compare one to the other, it's not apples to apples.
Did you speak to him when you were at that event, Nick Khan?
Yes. Dr. Rakan introduced me to him. I met him before, but he introduced me to him. We spoke. Everything was nice. And he said, I'm sorry for the misunderstandings, because they said I could not go into the ring. So I said, okay, just have 2 or 3 security guards to throw me out of the ring, because I am going into the ring. It's the WBC belt, and I'm going to have to go in and present and do my job. If you don't want me in, just have people take me out.
And what did he say when you said that?
No, I didn't say that to him.
Okay.
I said it in a program like this,
Okay.
and it came out.
And in the end, you were in the ring.
I was in the ring,
Yes.
with all the other presidents of the organizations.
What about Dana White? Did you speak to him at the event or recently?
No. I met Dana a long time ago with Todd Duboff and Fernando Beltran. We went to his office when they were starting the UFC. He worked with Fertitta Lorenzo. He was a boxing commissioner. We had a very nice meeting. I saw him a couple of times after that. I saw him when Mayweather and the UFC guy,
Conor
McGregor.
Yes.
I saw him briefly. He was... Then a friend of us, Sina, mutual friend, gave me his phone. I have texted with him a few times, cordial, friendly, but it's been a long time since we spoke.
Speaking of that Terence Crawford fight, obviously there was a lot of hoopla in December when he pretty much vacated the title and you took it back, right?
Yes.
He's no longer WBC champion. Can you tell me your side of the story? I've seen him talk about it. I saw when he went on Instagram and he spoke about it and said a lot of things about you. I'm sure you've seen this as well.
I did not want to see it.
You didn't want to see it?
No, I saw the beginning when...
Yeah, he was in his car.
And there was some captions and things that he said. A lot of F.
Yeah.
And I did not feel I wanted to see that. I read a few things because we were just coming off a great convention in Thailand.
Yes.
We had unbelievable, great moments, everything positive, our working plan for the next year. So you have 1,000 good messages and then one negative. I'm not going to read that.
Okay, fair enough. But that's from a big voice, right?
Yeah. No, but I see people told me what it was all about.
Yeah.
So I said, no problem.
So what's your side of the story?
Okay, the side of the story is very simple. First, I'm very sorry. Always it has to go to economics. Money. They blame it on the money, but it's not about the money. Terence is a sensational fighter, a fighter of an era. I wish him the best. Now that he has retired, he has my full appreciation and friendship and best wishes for his life outside of the ring. But he was WBC champion in the welterweight division. He asked to fight a final elimination against Madrimov in the super welterweight and keep the welterweight. When you fight under those conditions, there are rules because it's a WBC special event. Within the rules includes the payment of sanction fees. We can talk about sanction fees when I finish, if you like.
Please.
That happened. My mom died on that weekend.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. So that matter of that event carried on for some time. Last year, they announced fighting Canelo. Absolutely. WBC will sanction, and there are rules. The fighters have to pay sanction fees. When this is such a huge event with a lot of money, we made a cap. It was not the 3% that the rule says, but we put a cap for that amount. And
was the cap 300?
300,000.
Okay.
Out of 50 million, it's much more, not even 1%.
Right.
And he won. He knew about it. Him and his team and everybody knew that even we had a cap. And he fought. Nothing was said. And then he didn't pay the sanction fees. He decided to do so. So it is not necessary. It is unnecessary to go in through that process and blame the money because he has nothing to do with the money.
Has he always paid the fees in the past?
Well, he paid the fees. He was our super lightweight champion. welterweight champion. He fought Spence, and there had never been.
There was no issue. And just so I know, is there a deadline? Like, let's say he fights September 13th. Does he have to pay by 60 days, 90 days? How does that usually work?
They should pay. The promoters should pay before the fight. But as I said, it is not. We are not like a collecting agency. So most of the times, the promoters, they pay next week after the fight.
Okay.
They close their dealings. In Japan, in England, many countries, they pay even at the weigh-in. They make the payment.
Okay.
Some on Monday. But it is just a difference. There's in good faith.
Sure.
If we were in bad faith, we would simply collect before. If not, there's no fight.
And in that process, did you ever speak to him and get an explanation as to why he didn't want to pay that amount?
No.
So how does it work to the point to where it like explodes in front of everyone and he's no longer WBC champion? How do we get to that point?
Well, the fight was in September.
Yes.
We sent several letters through his representatives, and they knew that they had to address the matter, the situation. And when we got to the convention, it was clear that they decided not to honor what they signed for.
The WBC fee was more than the IBF, WBO, WBA, right?
I don't know.
That's what he claimed. And I think what you said in an interview was that around like 240 or so thousand would go to the Jose Sulaiman fund, right?
On that specific fight, the Jose Sulaiman fund was established in 2012.
In honor of your late father.
Yeah, he created it.
Yes.
With great joy. We did a joint collaboration with Hublot, the watches. And it was a beautiful dinner, 2012. 12 watches of the great champions. Those were auctioned. The seed money for the Jose Sulaiman fund was $1 million. And it is administered by the Nevada Community Foundation. They receive the money. Nobody can touch it. And there's a process. When you have a need, you make an application. It is received at the Nevada Community Foundation. There's a committee that approves the grants, and then the money is dispersed.
Okay.
We had that. We had another event in 2019, also with Hublot. It raised 1.2 million. And now it's urgent to raise more money so it doesn't dry out. We have given away $2.5 million, a little bit more, grants around all over the world, fighters. You don't need to be a WBC champion or a champion. Anyone from a boxer need funeral expenses, medicine, housing, many different areas. The money is given to that. So we took Canelo's around 75% of his fees to send to the fund, and we were going to send the 75% from Crawford to the fund. Can we talk about fees?
Sure. Can I just ask you?
Sure.
So was it about, maybe it was like 220 to the fund and 80 would go to the WBC?
That's something like that, yes.
And so to someone out there being like, well, why does because he brought this up too, why does the WBC charge more? Why are they charging Terence more than everyone else? What is your response to that?
Each organization is independent, autonomous, and we all do whatever we do. What we do is completely proven with facts. And that's why I wanted to talk about sanction fees.
Okay.
The WBC, everything that comes into the WBC goes back to boxing, one way or another. We have offices. You need to pay the rent. You need to pay the services, communications, water, blah, blah, blah. We have 50 employees in Mexico City. We have offices, remote offices in several cities and countries. We have many committees that are working committees. Most of the WBC members around the world do not make a penny for themselves. They work for WBC and for boxers. We have the WBC Cares, which is an unbelievable program. that we go out in 28 chapters, 28 countries, and do many social responsibility activations. We have the ratings committee, the ring officials committee, the medical committee. We fund research. We fund studies. And I mean, there's so many things that we do around the world, but in reality, the money is for boxing, is for the boxers. And it is, that's why I feel bad when things turn into the money, because it is not correct. It is not fair. And the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund is the greatest thing that we have, because we have helped and we will continue to help on an amazing amount of persons that otherwise would be having a lot of problems.
There was a theory when this was happening that TKO was behind it, that they were telling him not to do it in their effort to try to maybe diminish the WBC. And, you know, this was in the midst of all of this. Do you believe that theory? Do you think that they convinced him to do this, or that they were behind it? They were the influence?
I don't know. I don't think so. And in reality, it doesn't matter. We don't have a voice. I thank you so much for giving me today a voice representing the WBC. We don't have networks. We don't have a program that goes out with a whole infrastructure that we can get the word out. Whatever we publish in our networks, whoever wants to pick it up and publish it is good. Otherwise, it is only within our small world. And as I said, there's multi-billions against a non-profit organization, but we're stronger.
And that's why I ask you, do you feel like this is a great threat? It's multi-billions versus non-profit. Usually multi-billions wins.
But not in the boxing world, because we're not for the money. If we were for the money, then I would be worried and, oh my God, what's going to happen?
But how do you earn a living if it's not for the money?
Tomorrow, the WBC champion will be better. If one fighter goes for whatever reason, tomorrow we will have a better champion. It's the history of the WBC. We are the Muhammad Ali, the Mike Tyson, Leonard Hagler, Hearns, Chavez, Duran, Mayweather, Canelo, Triple G, Crawford. There's a time when the fighter gets to a point that he doesn't need anyone. He doesn't need nothing, because anybody will be able to promote him, to manage him. They claim they don't need belts anymore, and that happens. But look at Mayweather. If you look at his history, Oscar de la Hoya, Canelo, Triple G, Pacquiao, it's a system that works, and because there's so much history behind a championship belt. It is nothing that you can recreate. It has soul behind. It has energy. It has power. I don't know, you saw Shushu. That moment inside the ring, that is what the WBC is all about. I known him for several years. When him and I embraced, and he was crying, and his father was crying, and it just represents so much, because we were for him 4 or 5 years ago. It's easy to be with a champion when now he's a champion. But I'm with kids that are 13 years old here and in Japan and everywhere in the world. And we answer every single email, every call, every message. It's a hard working all over the place, but it is worth it because of the fighters. They are the greatest human beings that represent the best from the humble, you know?
I agree with that. Could I ask, how do you earn a living if it's a nonprofit and it's all going back to the fighters? Obviously, you have to live as well. Could you tell us?
We have a company since 1963. My father was a businessman. We moved to Mexico City from the province. And we have construction businesses. We have security businesses. We have a pharma business also as well.
Okay, so this is all outside of WBC.
Yes, that's my family.
Okay.
We
Sure.
have absolute finances for the family.
Yes, of course.
Not from boxing.
Okay, so from WBC you don't earn.
No, it's not it is not for a living. It's a non-for-profit.
Wow. Is there ever a point where you're like, this is a lot of stress for a nonprofit? You know, maybe I go back to the family business and not deal with all of this.
Well, you know, since I was a little boy, all I can remember is boxing. I would go to school, come back, and there would be Muhammad Ali, Don King, having lunch
Wow.
in our living room or having a meeting. Tyson, Sugar Ray, or a young amateur fighter or a trainer. My father, since he had to travel so much, he had this passion for boxing that it's hard to understand when you did not live it. He was in the era that there was not even fax. No fax, no cell phone, no social media, no internet. So everything had to be long trips, 2-3 months, would come back for a week or two and then go back again. So whenever he was in Mexico, he would take all the time, try to be at home. So our house was the home of boxing. Everybody would come in. My mom would cook for 20, 30 persons every single day, since I was a kid until my dad passed away. So we have been around boxing. When my father died, I thought my job in boxing was finished because he passed away, and we never had any expectations that I would be the president of the WBC. I was with him to help him out, to be with him. I started just making notes and some messages, phone calls, and this and that. And then I became more of an executive matters when he started getting old. But at the end, it was not the plan. When my father died, he died in Los Angeles. We were very fortunate to bring him home that night. And we had to extend. In Mexico, when you die, you have the service next day, the viewing, and then the second day is the funeral or the cremation. We had to extend 3 days because people were coming from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from all over the place. We have thousands of people in the funeral home. They have like 20 off chambers where 20 different people can be viewed. We closed the whole thing. It was only for Jose Sulaiman.
Wow.
Thousands of people. So my mom, in one of those moments, she said, "Are you going to abandon? And look what this was for your father." My wife said the same. So then I thought, well, I can continue being like the general secretary as I was, or run committees, whatever. 3 weeks later, the WBC had to do the voting for a president, and I was elected.
Wow.
And I've been 12 years president of the WBC.
Have you watched Zuffa Boxing yet? They've had 2 shows. Have you watched any of them?
No, I saw, just some pictures that.
What do you think of it so far? The presentation. They're wearing uniforms, things like that. Obviously, I know there was one fighter last week who had a WBC tattoo on his leg, which I thought was a little bit, ironic considering their stance. But based on what you've seen, do you have any feelings about what you're seeing?
It's their beginning. They're starting. There's a lot of confusion on the message that first they say, no WBC and other organizations, and we will not deal with any other promoters. And then they sign Opetaya, and then they say, well, we might be doing, we don't know. So there's confusion. I feel very sorry for Callum Walsh. He was the WBC Continental Americas champion. First, the WBC USA champion before that. Super welterweight. Unbelievable nice kid whom I've seen him many times. His dream to be the WBC champion. His social media is full of videos with his belt and pushing, saying it's a dream, blah, 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 blah. Now he's into that league, and he has to fight in middleweight because they don't have super welterweight, and he didn't look good. I don't know if he can be built into a middleweight. So that example of Callum Walsh, I felt sad for him. There was another fighter in that card, also Continental America's champion. So they sent us a letter, Tom Loeffler, vacating those titles because they cannot defend. I hope they do well, in reality.
Why?
Because it's boxers having a activity and earning the living. But I hope they do it in the same as the other promoters. There's no need to change the structure because it sounds, it smells like everything will be built to make a huge enterprise with all the money going to their pockets and not the fighters.
But that's what's happening, right? That's what they want, right?
That's what they want, but now the law is still not changed.
But it seems inevitable.
I guess that the fights have been under the Muhammad Ali Act so far.
So far, yes.
So there's so many unanswered questions.
Do you think it would be bad if they pass this bill, the Revival Act?
I do think so.
Why?
From what I have seen, because the fighters will not have representation. They will not have the opportunity to one time make the money that the Crawfords and Canelos and Pacquiao's make. They cannot fulfill the dream of being the WBC champion. Ask any fighter, and I can assure you 90% want the green belt. If not, they want the WBO, WBA, IBF belt.
Right.
They want to be world champions, and they cannot offer that.
How will you feel? So they signed Jaya Pataya, and there's, I think, talk. I don't know if they announced the fight yet. He's the IBF champion, cruiserweight champion.
I saw a picture with Noel Mikaelian,
Who's the WBC champion?
who's the WBC champion.
But what happens then? Will Noel vacate, or what if they say, okay, no problem? But I was wondering, they have him throw the belt in the garbage or something to send us a message that we don't care about this belt. Will you partake? Have they reached out to you about, okay?
No, I have not received any communication. Noel is going to Mexico tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow night, yeah, Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have a press conference. Every week, the WBC has the weekly press conference. Christian Mbili was there last week.
Yes.
Oshaki Foster was there at the beginning of the year. Jesus Ramos. So Noel, all I saw was a picture of Opetaya and Noel.
Yeah.
With Rick Reno in the middle, the Versace guy.
So what does that mean?
I don't know if
you're going to find out.
I'll find out.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. Maybe they do a unification fight.
But they said they don't want to deal with the WBC. So how are they going to do that?
I don't know. But then Dana said they might.
You think so?
He said it in an interview.
I know, but do you really think so?
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it.
I don't know. They're welcome. If they want to do a unification fight, if they want to promote boxing.
You want to work with them?
Of course, but they have to comply with the rules and the structure. And don't worry, Nick, I will buy my room as I did in Las Vegas. I paid for my room.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And for everyone else that was working with WBC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think Alberto Leon was the supervisor for Mbili. Lester Martinez, I think he had a room.
Okay. On a different note, I wanted to ask you about women's boxing, which is having a great resurgence. MVP, as you know, signing a lot of women's fighters, and
Santiago Brown.
Yes, very good signing. Last week they announced that, and their stance as of late has been they want 3-minute rounds. Mm-hmm. Amanda Serrano was undisputed champion. She had to give up the WBC belt, right? Because based on my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you did not want to recognize 3-minute rounds for the women. You wanted the standard 2-minute rounds. Could you explain why? And are you open to changing? Are you open to recognizing this so that men and women fight under the same, rule set, if you will?
Yeah, this is a hot topic.
Yes.
It's wrongly seen as a gender or as equality or as sexist. This is nothing about those. It's only about safety. Boxing, the WBC is the first organization who created the championship for women back in 2004. We have done conventions exclusively for women boxing. We have lobbied and supported and fought very hard for women with networks, with media, with promoters from that era. Boxing was seen as a man's sport, very difficult to. Still today, there are companies that do not promote women. And there are still persons that do not like women's boxing. To the contrary, we have been a very strong advocate supporting women in all aspects. The reality is that woman and man, we are different. Different bone structure. The skull has difference. The cervical spine has a difference. The studies from other sports are clear that women have more possibility of a concussion, and the recovery from the concussion is much longer. Hormonal changes, hormonal situation, the monthly period that women have. There's many differences between the man and the woman. And we did a study back in 1978 with UCLA. The WBC funded that study. After a year, with the results that came in, the government paid 50 times what the WBC funded to continue with that research. All those studies are the ones that are used in every emergency room, every protocol for the soldiers and all this, anything that has to do with brain injury. Those studies came from what we started. And the reality is there's a formula. Fatigue plus dehydration plus punch, it's a mortal combination for the brain. So the more you fight means you are more tired and more dehydrated. A woman fight is 10 rounds for 2 minutes, that's 20 minutes. To change it from 20 minutes to 36 minutes, it's a huge difference and will put women at risk in a very strong manner, according to the medical experts and according to what we have seen on all the research. We don't want to say, I told you so. Or we are not willing to say, okay, let's try it. Let's see if a woman is going to die in the 8th round of a 3-minute round. We will not do that. Unless there's a conclusive, very strong proof that they are not at a higher danger as everything sees or shows us, that they will be at a much higher danger because of what I just said. We will not do anything to change women. Plus, the 2-minute rounds are so exciting. They are so commercial. Women going and the fights are incredibly popular. And what I have seen in the 3-minute for women, they have not been able to accomplish excitement or they're selling a product of saying man like woman. That's wrong. Very wrong. It's not about equality, as I said. It's about safety.
Okay. 2 quick ones, and then I'll let you go. And thank you. This has been great, and I really appreciate it. I know we're running out of time, so I want to allow you to get on with your day. One fast one on Alexander Usyk. I know you said that you were giving him an exemption, and you're waiting to see what he plans to do. He's the WBC champion. Obviously, he's considered the king of the heavyweights, and Turki Al-Sheikh said he was interested in having him fight Rico Verhoeven, who's a kickboxing champion. Would you be okay with that? Would you be okay with the WBC belt being on the line, boxer versus kickboxer?
I don't know. I don't know Rico or this. This is the first time I hear about this. The WBC accepted Usyk's request for a voluntary defense. We were led that Wilder was going to
Right.
probably fight him, but I don't know anything else.
Okay.
We do have in one of the ratings criteria is for a boxer what they do in Muay Thai or kickboxing, amateur boxing. That's one of the criteria. I don't know if that would be what is the case of this specific fighter. I will have to, of course, look into it.
Okay.
So I would not like to mislead or speculate.
Okay. And just curious, obviously the Pacquiao-Barrios fight ended up being a tremendous fight. It was a draw. I thought maybe Pacquiao even won the fight, to be honest. But WBC did take some, criticism for ranking him and then having him, fight for the belt. Could I just ask, and I know this might be a longer, thing, but how do you justify that? Is it based on his resume, based on who he is? Because most people who are out for that long don't get put in the rankings as high as he was and then an immediate title shot upon returning.
Yeah, we took a beating.
Yes,
on
yes,
that.
yes.
But that's what I like to be the punching bag.
Okay.
We have rules and we have processes. As a champion, you have rights or you have privileges. The first thing was full medicals to see, especially at his age, what is the medical condition. Second, get a license. He was licensed by Nevada. He sent the absolute full medicals, and him being a legend, a proven fighter of elite place, the WBC accepted and voted in favor to allow him to challenge for the WBC title. Decades ago, Sugar Ray Leonard had been out of the ring 4 years with a detached retina. So it was the same process. 2 different doctors to analyze. He was in absolute recovery from the detached retina. Nevada license. Dwayne Ford, he was a chairman at that time. He had the license for Sugar Ray, and he was approved, and he beat Hagler. And Pacquiao came very close of beating Barrios. So I feel proud. I feel happy. When the fight ended, I had a smile on my face because I knew it was going to be like that.
Well, you were vindicated in a way based on the performance, and I'm looking forward to Ryan Garcia against Mario Barrios on the 21st of February. This has been amazing. Thank you so much, Mauricio. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on and answering some of these questions, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. It's a fascinating time for the sport, as you said, a fascinating, challenging time, but it's very interesting to cover from our seat here. So appreciate you and Martin very much, who I worked with at Showtime, who I admire and respect very, very much. He's a great, great guy. So thank you so much.
He's a great guy, Martin.
Yes, so thank you for coming, and thank you to him for setting this up. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so very much. It has been very special for me.
Thank you. There he is,
Appreciate
Mauricio
it.
Sulaiman, the president of the WBC. We're going to take a quick break, say goodbye to Mauricio, and be back with Quillen Salkield and Robert Whitaker. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.